Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of Fox's Den. Normally, it'd be Locks hosting this show, but he's in Turkey having a good time. But don't despair, we've got the three musketeers to follow me today. We're joined by Ragsy, Ash, and Sportser himself, Mr. Josh. How are we all doing? Let's go around the room. I'll start with Ragsy. How are you doing? How's life treating you?
I'm all good, man. I'm all good. I've got to be honest. I wasn't in tune with the whole 90 minutes for the Arsenal game, so I'll offer any sort of insight that I can from I've seen extended highlights. But I was in Belfast over the weekend. But we did end up heading to the bar, and the moment I walked in, I was thinking, okay, I'm just going to tune myself out and then just catch up on the highlights and give myself a clear head and just socialise with my friends and stuff when they're in Belfast. As soon as I walk in, Arsenal 2, Leicester 2. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? I was just gobsmacked. And then I was just hooked from there. And they were just like, yeah, can we have a TV next? Just a table next to one of the TVs there. So we'll head into the game. But yeah, I'm all good, man. I'm all good.
You heard it there, folks. Blame Ragsy. He came into the bar and we lost the game. So there's your tactical breakdown for you.
Yeah,
all jokes aside. Evening to everyone in chat. Hope you're enjoying it today as we look forward to the Bournemouth preview. But let me go through the rest of the panel. Ash, how are we doing tonight?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Had a exciting weekend in North London, as you guys know, and we'll touch on. But recovered now and ready to talk Bournemouth.
Cool. Well, unfortunately, I'm going to make you recreate those memories of that Arsenal game in a moment. I'll ask a few of you. Josh, how are we doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Just like Ash. Interesting trip to Arsenal on Saturday. Started off badly. We had that little 20-minute wonder spell, didn't we? But yeah, ended the way we kind of thought it would. But yeah, not too bad, lads.
Well, let's start with that Arsenal game. So it's fresh in everyone's memories. We went to the Emirates and we lost again. This time round, though, wow, it was a pretty crazy game. And look, I just want to ask you, Josh, we'll start with you. When Justin hits that wonder goal, how many limbs went flying around? What was your reaction?
Yeah, it's pretty mental, to be fair. I missed the first goal because I was in the concourse. But yeah, that second goal was very good. Out of nowhere, really, wasn't it? But yeah, in front of the away end, we all had a great view of it. The players came in to celebrate in front of us as well, which is fantastic. But yeah, it's one of them moments, really. If you weren't going to get anything, it was going to take something like that, weren't it? Sadly, it didn't obviously mean anything towards the end. But yeah, it's good that Leicester did come back again, and what a goal it was.
I'll have a question for both you and Ash, but I will start with you, Josh. So you were there, and it was a pretty insane game because I think we were doing the live match day watch along, and at half time, we were literally going in the chat saying, who thinks we'll get a shot on target in this entire match? And no one thought we would. It just looked like it was game over. Then we get a goal for this. Well, we did against Palace as well, didn't we? We got a goal right away. I'm like, oh, okay, that's pretty good. Then that goal is a beautiful move, actually. It's not just the goal. Like, the entire move was good. And everyone's going, what is going on? Like, is Steve Cooper redeeming himself? You guys in the stadium, what was going through your minds? And at the end of the day, do you think we deserved something from the game, or do you think the score was fair, or the result, shall we say, was fair?
I'd say the result was fair because the amount of saves Hermanson had to make was ridiculous, weren't it? But exactly, yeah, he was all over the shot, weren't he? But no, I think I said to my mate, I thought you could just see Arsenal score, and you just had that feeling, really. Obviously, it was constant towards the end of the game. The atmosphere was picking up a little bit, and we were all fearing the worst, really. But yeah, it's one of them games, really. You couldn't really expect too much against Arsenal. I'm happy that we obviously got level, but if you pick out the stats, the performance overall still not that good, is it? But I think the way we came back was definitely a positive.
Yeah, I'll move on to you, Ash. What was your feeling? And talk to me about Mads Hermanson, because I don't know if you know this, but he made 13 saves in that game. That is the most in any Premier League match since 2017, so 7 years, which was also against Arsenal, would you believe? David De Gea. Man United actually got away with a point in that one, and it's because he made 14 saves. So clearly Mads just isn't trying hard enough, is he? He's just couldn't get that final save in. But what did you make of the game, and what did you make of his performance?
Yeah, you know what, mate? Same as I predicted I was having a joke like 4-5-0, and sort of when we went the 2 down, I thought that was genuinely going to happen. I thought, yeah, we're in for a long afternoon. It was nothing less than I expected, really. I thought, yeah, long afternoon. I went down for a beer at sort of 36, 37. I'm not going to lie. I thought I'll get my pints in nice and early. And then anyway, I'm finishing the last swig and I hear this almighty cheer. I'm like, that's us, And I've rushed back up, gone up there, and yeah, we'd scored. Ricardo then scored again with a wonder goal, and I thought, this is not happening. I felt like I was in a bit of a daze, to be honest, because we were being battered that much in the first half. I was like, this can't be real. Like, we're 2-2, but there was always that sinking feeling. I was like, I seen the added time, and don't get me wrong, I'm not going to grumble too much about what was added on, because we were playing the game with slowing the game down and the subs, and I'm not going to be one of these that's look at all the added time, because I think it was about right. But yeah, Mads was class. I had an Arsenal friend message me after the game, because I met a few guys down there, because I've got a few good Arsenal friends. And they was like, your keeper is like different gravy, mate. He's incredible. And he actually really is, isn't he? Like, I know he can be a bit sus with the passing the odd time, but generally he's good with the ball at his feet. He's a great shot stopper. And I think we've got a bit of a gem there in Mads. Another great Dane in goal, yeah. So
Yeah, following in a long line. I mean, he's probably going to be the club's next big sale, I imagine. And I think it's a bit scary that I've already seen on Reddit people coming into the Leicester Reddit going, "Hey, your guy Hermansen, is that how he normally plays, or was just the one-off?" Because they're probably eyeing him up. Because I'd actually make a case to say he might even be better than David Raya. But over to you, Ragsy, on the highlights of the game that you saw. What did you make of it overall? Sometimes the highlights do actually portray a fairly accurate picture. So what did you make of what you saw?
Yeah. I tried like scouring over like the highlights and just sort of pointers in the game, and it kind of pinpointed like, I'd say, the pivotal moments, particularly towards the end of the game and how he acted. Like, I think when you look on the balance of play, I don't look to stats too often. I try not to. I always try and focus more on the eye test, but even from the stats and the eye test, I felt like Arsenal definitely battered us, particularly in the first half. You then come out into the second half, get a set piece, and you're thinking like, right, let's just focus on getting the next goal. Otherwise, like, the way this is continuing, it could be like a cricket score at the end of it. So you get that goal from JJ. You're thinking, okay, great, cool, let's keep going. And I think the one thing, I'm not saying I'm an advocate for Cooper, but the one thing Cooper has sort of particularly focused on is the overloads from out wide, and that's what he wants to try and create. That's kind of what you saw from Forest in their sort of championship team, and even at parts in the Premier League as well. And, you know, he kind of replicated that here with Ndidi going out wide and assist helping with Mabadidi. He spread it down the line, Ndidi gets a cross in, and JJ, honestly, that goal, like, he could not have hit it any sweeter. It's absolutely insane. And it's even on a level for me as well. And I know this is like one of Vardy's greatest ever goals, but remember with Vardy against West Brom, Mara's over the top, and it's like he just takes it on the volley. It just goes right over his body. That could even be on par with that. I think maybe if you compare it, Jamie's could be a little bit tough, but I think that's JJ's is definitely up there. He's like never ever going to hit a sweeter strike than that. And then you're thinking, right. And I sort of walk into the bar, see this is all happening, and going, how the hell have we pulled this off? How are we still in this? And I'm tuning in, and with Hermansen as well, like, honestly, the saves were just point blank. His reaction times is just so quick. And I've got to say, I'm not even surprised that he's pulled off this performance. I feel like he's waited for this moment to come, and he's finally on the Premier League stage, and now he's showing what he's truly capable of. And okay, we're under the cosh, and he's not really showing his his distribution and his ball playing techniques, but even just coming off his line for corners and stuff, guarantee you, if Danny Ward's in goal that day, it's like they're scoring 8-9 goals easy. Like, he single-handedly kept us in this tie. But without like then drawing it back to like it's the sort of negative side of it, Cooper's approach again, it's kind of like what we expected. He hasn't really changed it, and it kind of showed, because I think the only reason ultimately why we stayed in that game is to individual moments of brilliance with two goals from Justin, Mads Hermansen keeping us in it. And then even like what I will say is the set piece defending. I think we have like gotten better at that. I think Justin was marking Gabriel, who's a huge threat from it. And we kind of marshaled it pretty well. Indeed, he cleared the ball. Justin put him off. Hermansen went to claim one as well. That's what I saw from Match of the Day. But all the time, Martinelli was free behind the goal at the back stick, just in case if any of the crosses were overhit, that he was there just to sort of latch onto it and then try and like putting the ball into the box and see if anything can happen. And that's ultimately what happened with the winning goal, and it led to a no goal and we cracked. I don't have a problem with like conceding a goal like that, especially in the latter stages of a game. We were under huge pressure, and the result, yeah, Josh is right, is probably deserved, but it's just still a case of what could have been. If you go out there and go and put like for like changes in, like, you know, imagine at 2-2, you go and put a Fatu in, and or an El Canus, or just someone just a bit more positive rather than Jordan Ayew and Cordova Reid. You know, you make Arsenal go and think the other way. I saw their fans as well in the home. Like, they were shitting it. They were bricking it. They were just like under so much pressure, and that could have been the perfect opportunity. But we're never going to know because we don't have a manager, unfortunately.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ragsy, let me come back to you because you're getting onto some of the other topic points, but they are very good to do it. Just bring up some of the comments. Fair play to Dawn, our other former Great Dane. I don't know if you saw Celtic conceded 7 against Dortmund yesterday, so not quite as good as shot stopping as him. Jake's here said, yeah, I think it really showed we have the talent to stay up. Now, that's interesting that he says that. So I'm going to ask you, Ash. So I want to bring this up on my screen. I saw this come on The Athletic earlier in the week. Is Leicester's resilient display at Arsenal a turning point for Cooper? Here's was the article, referenced the fact that, yes, we had good individual performance, did so well. I will just say, for a resilient display, did we not concede 4 goals? But without trying to sort of like, you know, put my own opinion on things, what did you make of that in terms of, because a common theme has been that Leicester have been competitive in every game. And I suppose even against Arsenal, the fact that we were 4 minutes away from getting what would have been a famous draw, there is something to be said there. So do you think there's something to be admired, or do you think we're papering over the cracks?
I think we're papering over the cracks here, aren't we? Like, let's face it, it's not. I'm not going to be miserable here and sort of throw steam at the team, but we got battered in the first half. When it went 2-2, they started to batter us again. It wasn't like a 2-all that was warranted. Like, oh, we really went to Arsenal and gave them a game all game. We had two goals that come out, you know, sloppy defending from them on a set piece, and then a worldie. And it's if I'm being honest, that flattered us massively 2-2, didn't it? I think we can all agree on that. And then
we had one shot on target, by the way, to get those 2 goals.
Exactly, and then the obvious happens. The better team press and press and press and press and press until they score, and we end up losing the game. Is it a turning point? No. The turning point will be when we get 3 points on the board, whether it be ugly win, whether it be a classy win. A win will be the turning point, I believe. But can I see it in the near future? You know, Bournemouth beat Southampton the other night, didn't they, quite convincingly? And I think that could happen again this weekend. And then I think it's after this game, Anil, that if we don't get that first 3 on the board, there's going to be serious questions asked, and not just from the fans.
Yeah, I was going to say, brave of you to assume we will get a win was going to be my take on it. But I'll move over to you, Josh. And just before I do, I just want to bring something else up as well. So remember Cooper telling us that Walsall were a very tough team to break down, very, you know, stacked defensively. And then I went on BBC earlier and I saw this result, 6-2 defeat there. Again, just really throwing some shade here, taking Lox's place. But Josh, yeah, talk to me. What did you make of the overall performance, the solidarity, the kind of fighting back into it? And something I will ask you is, do you think that maybe we were a bit not cute enough? Like, you've mentioned some of the time wasting, but it did surprise me in the 90th minute that we didn't do more sort of just running to the corner flag. I remember there was like an opportunity where Ndidi kicked it long and it was coming to Ayew. Now, unfortunately, he had the touch of a donkey, but I don't know. I just feel that like we were a bit naive there. Like Mads getting an injury and then it turned out he was absolutely fine. And then Mavididi having cramp. Those are the things that I was hoping to see more of. But you tell me, what did you make of the overall display there?
100%. Obviously, Arsenal did the exact same thing last week, the dark art stuff, and they all loved it. So, you know, there's no reason why we shouldn't have done it ourselves a bit more. And yeah, that's what I mean. It felt like it was constant even towards the end of the game. And the game management, I think, you know, it comes back to that, which has been a bit of an issue so far this season. You know, similar thing to Palace away. And I think so far this season, it's really felt like a case of what if in some games. You know, even the Tottenham game could have gone for it a bit more, could have gone for it against Arsenal, could have gone for it in every game, really, in terms of the subs. But in terms of Arsenal itself, is it a positive? Maybe a massive push in terms of coming back, but Then again, just like we said on another day, that game ends easily. Could 6-7-0 if Arsenal take the chances and we don't have Hermanson making them crazy saves. So yeah, it could give the players a bit of confidence. The fact that we have scored 2 goals against one of the better teams in the league, but we just got to bring it into the next game now when we're playing against Bournemouth at home. Obviously, we'll discuss that in a minute, which is going to be massive for us, really.
Now, this is what I like about our guest, is I could have done a smooth transition and Josh has just done it for me there. He's just laid it on the line absolutely beautifully. This has come from Ray. Ray said, we've got a game of football to win and it has to be Saturday. I agree. So even though Locks is supposed to be relaxing on holiday, I know full well that he's not only watching the show, but he's actually got a video prepared. So I'm going to ask you all about what you think about Bournemouth. But here from the main man, the 5th person to join us, he is the extra man. He is the crowd for this one. Let's see what Locks has to say about the game.
Hello, people. Locks here from sunny Turkey, as you can see in the background. Thanks again to Anil for hosting Fox's Den this week. It's very much appreciated. And obviously, thanks to the guests as well who are on the panel tonight. It's much appreciated, guys. So what I want to say is Bournemouth. Well, I am worried. We've just come off the back of another defeat against Arsenal where the narrative from some fans, you can guess who, what kind of fan it is, but they're running with that we competed and that we were close with Arsenal for 90 minutes. Well, please tell me, out of all these games we've competed in and we've been close in, how many wins did they result in? Yeah, that's right, 0. So I do worry it's going to be the same this weekend against Bournemouth. They're a very good side. I've just seen them thump Southampton 3-1, 3-0 up at half-time or something like that, I think it was. Sorry, I had a few beers, so I can't remember too much. So I do worry it's going to be the same. I think we'll set up again at home, very defensively, very negative, and maybe we won't start playing until we're 1-0 down. We've seen this story before. So I think this is the game, though, where pressure does start to pile on Steve Cooper even more, and more people start swaying in the out camp, if you like, if we do lose it and the performance is poor. Again, if we go at them from minute 1 and we try and win the game and we're caught on the counter a little bit or we're caught on the transition and we end up drawing or losing, I don't think the criticism will be as much. I really don't. And it won't be from, I promise you, people will say that it will, but you'll still be annoyed. I won't be. If we actually try and win the game and lose, that's better than not trying to win the game and losing. Trust me. So yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see a change in mentality. I want to see a change in performance. I want to see our best players playing. I want to see Ricardo on the pitch. I want to see Fatawu, Mavididi, Facundo Buonanotte. Something tells me it won't happen, though. So, yeah, my prediction is going to be 1-1. 1-1. I think we could lose, but I'm going to say 1-1. I won't be happy with the 1-1 if we're negative with it. If we try and win the game, we're going at them, I'll be happy. So 1-1 against Bournemouth. And maybe, just maybe, if we don't get a point, maybe if it is 0 points, we are one step closer to being freed of this terrible manager. Cheers all. Thanks again to Anil. I'll pass you back now. And yeah, come on, you Foxes.
How smooth was that? Unbelievable. The only thing he didn't get right is you can tell he didn't know who the panel was going to be. So that's why he just referred to guests rather than by the name. But otherwise, 9.5 out of 10. Locks for the new manager of Leicester City. That's my early shout for there. But I'll go over to you, Ragsy. So let's talk Bournemouth right now. Loads of good comments in the chat. Please keep them going. And yeah, I think a lot of people have said, Bournemouth are a dangerous proposition. Gary, seen Bournemouth twice this season. It'll be a tough game. They have a lot of pace up front. What are you expecting? Where do you think the challenges will lie? And do you think we'll win?
Yeah, you're right. It's a tough game. We don't really have like a particularly good record against Bournemouth either. So yeah, even at home as well, like away, it's just, I don't even want to look at it. It disgusts me. But yeah, at home, it's not great either. So it's not an ideal home game to head into. You see the Southampton game as well, where first half they just took them to the cleaners. I think they're very sort of, even though they're compact in their play, they're very quick in transition. It's kind of similar as well to how sort of Fulham set up in like our second game in the season, and how like they were literally just any sort of balls threaded through the middle, they would just set up traps like that just to, in an instant, they were just going on the counter attack, using the counter press pretty well. I think it's going to be a similar game like that. They could sort of latch on to the fact that there's not really too much pressure on them, and they know full well they can go and pick us apart, and they'll have like moments and spells on the ball where they can like just load it up on the out wide and see if they can create opportunities. Really though, it has to be a win. With Cooper, I think he's had a lot of time. Well, not a lot of time, but he's had time to sort of implement his ways. The honeymoon period sort of still should be about here, and we're not really seeing any progress. We're not really seeing a clear approach, a solid identity, and just any sort of style to our play whatsoever. I think if you could draw it back as to, and if you were an advocate of Cooper and seeing what he did with Forest in the Championship, then you could look at it and go, well, if we are going to play like that, let's do it. Locks is right. We need to be positive. We need to be on the front foot. Now, if we can do that, and we have picked the right personnel to do that, and if we do see a change rather than what we've seen the past 6 games, then yeah, we've got a chance we can beat Bournemouth. I believe this squad is more than capable of staying up. It should bare minimum be 17th, and even that's that's quite poor. So, I mean, but yeah, will I see it happen? No, I agree with Locks again. I just think, it's just going to be the same old lineup. The only reason why Ayew didn't start, by the way, was because he had an injury doubt, and he seems absolutely fine and gagging to play for Cooper. Seems the only one to be, and so he'll probably be back in the 11. Still be the same 3D CDMs. We all know that Justin's now going to start for the rest of the season, and I just think it's just going to be the same sort of malaise all over again. We'll probably be fortunate to get a point. The players might pluck up the courage, do their own thing, and sort it out themselves to get a result. But I don't know. I think we could be caught out here. I think, I've got a bad feeling about this, so I think we may lose. I won't.
Full of optimism as usual. It's our Ragsy. Love to see it. All right, I'll come for your prediction later. I'll move over to you, Ash. I'm just looking here though. Something that's really terrifying, I think, about in the Premier League in general, and not just Bournemouth, is like the overall squad quality. Certainly in the sort of last 2 or 3 seasons, I have to say I really felt it the season that we went down, where previously there was a bit of a gap, I would say, between obviously the top 4, but then you probably had teams, of which I think Leicester were part of, that still had a bit more spending power. But for example, this summer, Bournemouth spent £37 million on Evan Nielsen from Porto, who's actually a striker I thought we might get linked with, but not at that price. Lucas Sinisterra, 25 million. Enes Unal, I mean, they've got a lot of money's been pumped into it since they took that Tonkin from Liverpool. Not to make people feel any more terrified. I love this comment from Thomas Wilkes. It's a honeymoon where no one's banging with the Steve Cooper honeymoon. And Dawn, we need to perform for 90 plus minutes, which I agree. I was going to say that so far, I don't think we've seen a 90-minute performance. So how do you think this game will go? Where do you think the key battles are going? And what do you think our chances are?
Yeah, I think I just sort of agree with Loxy, really. I think you're kind of deflated when you see the team sheet at the minute, knowing that we're going to be setting up defensively. And it's almost, we concede that goal and then we're trying to get back into the game, aren't we? We need, especially teams like Bournemouth. I'm not disrespecting them because they're holding their own and at the minute they're performing better than us. But we should be going at teams like Bournemouth, shouldn't we, really? Especially at home. Get all the attacking players on. Let's have a go. But I don't know. I've always been, up until sort of Saturday when we were dominated that much the first half, give Cooper a chance. He might turn this around. But I'm starting to feel really negative about it now. And I can see, again, I can't. I'm just waiting for us to drop points on Saturday. And that's just how I'm feeling now about watching Leicester City. I know it was going to be a long season, but I didn't think that it'd sort of be every game you're sort of expecting to get absolutely nothing. I just think it's too defensive until we concede, and then it's like we try and get back into it. Sadly, when we did get back into it, we didn't go sort of right. Let's go for the jugular now. We sort of got battered again after we pulled it back shockingly. But yeah, I can't. I've not got much optimism, Anil, about the weekend. I can't see it going too well.
Wow, it's interesting to see as these weeks progress how people are certainly changing their mind. Some interesting comments here. Chips, to be honest, I don't mind the team sheet as much as long as he makes 3 subs around the 60th minute. But instead he makes 1 sub at the 70th and then loads in extra time is brain dead. Like, he made 3 or 4 subs. Like, yeah, but 2 players on the 90th minute. All they did is watch a goal go in. And then he brought 2 players on the 97th minute, which is absolutely crazy. Just before I pass over to Joshua, let me ask you, Ash, if we went for a more attacking lineup, but we still lost, would you be okay with that? Or do you think actually we still need to play this kind of a bit more respectful type of football?
It depends the manner of the defeat if we went attacking, because what is worrying me as well now, Anil, is the fact that we're hearing from some journalists that he's lost the dressing room already and the players are not respecting him. And you know what it's like. If we've all got work and jobs. When you go work and you're under a manager who's a bit of an arsehole, you don't want to work for him, do you? Do you know? And I'm not saying the guy's an arsehole, but what I'm saying is if he's not doing what they think will work, or it's just not gelling, especially with characters like Vardy in the dressing room, if I'm being 100% honest, I don't think he's got long left. I don't think we're going to get anything Saturday, and I think the questions are going to start to be being asked then. I agree with Loxy completely on that one.
Yeah, it's very telling that you should say that. I mean, I was going to say as well that I feel that it's interesting that even the fans have been kind of on his back from the beginning too. Like, I will say that last season under Enzo, even though the performances weren't so good, like, for example, we absolutely got out of jail against Coventry first game of the season with Dewsbury Hall. I remember saying on quite a few of these channels saying, give this guy time. You can literally see the patterns of play and it will take time for this to click. But as soon as it clicks, we'll end up going on like a long winning run. And the amazing thing is that he got that run after about 5 games or something crazy. Locks from Zerky, sack Cooper, sack the board, sack Filbert the Fox. I don't know about that. I might be going a little bit too over the top there. Filbert's the lad. But Josh, let me move on to you. Let's give you some comments as well to kind of talk about, which I think are interesting. We can start Mamadidi for Tau and Didi, and I think we've got lots of attacking chances by crosses and cut-ins, which is basically the Enzo style from last season. Gary said, I can see a cagey first half and end-to-end game. Bournemouth don't really go for draws. That's true. It's all out chaos football, which is true, actually. The way that they play is sort of almost Bielsa-esque. They'll turn a game into a sort of basketball match, which can work either for or against you. But how do you think the game will go, and where do you see it sort of being won or lost?
It's tough. I'll try and put a different spin on it. Obviously, we beat Bournemouth last year in the FA Cup. Granted, there's loads of changes and whatnot. Everton were 2-0 up against them. If it, apart from that absolute collapse, you never know. But yeah, honestly, I think it's going to be a very tough game again. They're a good team, but yeah, just like we're saying, it's Bournemouth. No disrespect to them at home. You have to go for them, really. Cooper's on about getting a big atmosphere going, getting behind the players. It's never going to happen if you're just trying to sit back and hold out, wait to go 1-0 down, then come back and say, "Oh, we came back again," and still end up with a point. Like, these are the type of games we have to win, 100%. I think if we can show our side to the game and attack a bit more, because when we have attacked this season, 9 times out of 10 we've scored. We haven't created many chances at all, but we've scored in every game, and we don't have a bad record in terms of goal scoring at all. So I just want to see us go for it. And just like I've been saying, if we do go for it and lose or draw, fair enough. But yeah, I just don't want to see us sit back and hold out for a draw once again, because every game right now this season seems to be a complete carbon copy, really. I can see it being very similar to that Everton game. Obviously, they've got a lot more quality. Semenyo's been on good form as well recently. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough one. But I don't think there's no reason why, if we play the right players, there's no reason why we can't get a result. And, or if we draw, at least put in a good performance.
Yeah, I have to say something that worries me is that even though we have scored in every game, and in fact we scored 2 goals in some games, if you look at our underlying data, we're actually the 3rd lowest for sort of chances created in the division. And it's like, actually I was on Fox's talk earlier and I was saying, oh, well, PSG didn't score against Arsenal, so they must be terrible, right? And I was like, yeah, but if you look at our expected goals against Arsenal, it's literally a miracle we got 1 goal, yet alone 2. But the thing is that in many of our games, for example, even against Everton, they had a higher expected amount of goals, probably because Calvert-Lewin had that really good chance that, again, Mads the monster saved. And in the league, and this won't surprise you, Mads has got like the biggest difference between goals he's expected to save and goals he's actually saved. And he's basically saved sort of 4 goals already. So player of the season is definitely Nick DeMarco. I think we can all agree with that, with his PSR win. He's got the 9 points on the table. But second, it's got to be Mads. But the thing is with that data is it will catch up with you in the end. And that's what happened when we went down. Like if you looked at the underlying data, it actually suggested it was a team that was going to be in a relegation battle. No one took it seriously. Lost one of our best players, didn't replace him. And then, well, the rest, as they say, is history. On those words of optimism, though, and kind of to round up the show, what do you think the scores will be? I'm actually going to go in reverse order. So I'll start with you, Josh. What do you think is your score prediction for Saturday?
I'm going to go realistic 1-1 again at home.
Nice and positive. Go over to you, Ash. What's your prediction? I'll just give you a few comments just before your mind gets made up. Prawn and chips. No matter who he picks, we're not well coached. Tactical analysis picks so many holes in our performances. Opposing managers are having a field day. John Smith, we haven't played bad so far, just too defensive, and our expectations are too high. We're always going to be in a relegation fight with quality in our squad. And Chips has said players are carrying Cooper. What do you think?
If I'm being honest, I'm going to go 2-1 Bournemouth.
Nice
I'm sorry, lads. Yeah, I know. I've really have tried to be positive this season as well. You'll probably know from all the other shows. I'm like, yeah, but we're in the games, we're playing well. Something went in my head after that first half.
I was going to say, Josh, what have you done to Ash? He's absolutely broken after this. That's what happens. You go down to London and you come back forever haunted for the rest of your times. And Ragsy, then you give me your prediction.
Am I allowed 2? Can I give you a head and heart?
It's your panel. I won't judge you. It's what happens when you go to Belfast drinking on a bender.
Okay. So in my head, I'm probably agreeing with Ash. I think probably a 2-1 defeat. We may try and go for it in time at moments, but I think Bournemouth will then sort of capitalise, and I think they've got the quality to do so. In my heart, though, what I could try and manifest here and try not to be too negative is to think like, okay, hear me out. First half, 2-0 down, absolute disaster. Fans are on Cooper's back. They're already cutting it early. And he's like, my job is on the line here. You know what? Let me give what the fans want. Let me give what the players want. He throws on Fatawu. Maybe not Ricardo, but he puts on a cam like, he may have dropped Buonanotte and then he'll bring him back into the side. All of a sudden, these players bail him out of jail again. And I'm manifesting a 3-2 comeback. There we go.
Wow. That was against Everton, surely, the 3-2 comeback.
He can save his job. And you know what? Like, I think just it's from a comment that John sort of stated as well, where he was going like, fans' expectations are too high. Okay, from the offset, when you look at it's a pinpoint in time. You got to look at it and go, okay, well, Enzo's left, Kieran Dewsbury Hall's left. We have this points deduction looming over us. It's going to happen. But you always, in life, in football, in everything, you always account for variable change. And all of a sudden, you look at it and go, actually, it's not all doom and gloom behind the scenes, as much as we're all overstating it. But we're sort of looking at it from the manager, who is the most key component of any football club doing well. And at the minute, he's not doing good enough. And you look at it and go, well, actually, now he's been backed more than Brendan has in his entire reign. He's like £80 million net spent, 110 in his first window for the Foxes. He's been backed. All the players and stuff, even there's injuries, we got depth for a change. We actually have options, like in defence, in midfield, attack. We actually got the options here. He's got enough to make most out of his squad. And at the minute, he's alienated half of them. So I'm not looking at this and thinking that, we're getting away by the skin of our teeth. No, we've got a good squad depth compared to the likes of Southampton, Ipswich, and I'd say Everton. I still think they're in trouble. So if he can prove that and actually manage and come and muster a style, then I'm all for it. And if we do beat Bournemouth, then give an opportunity. I'm not going to sit here and I'll put my agendas to one side and over what's best for this club. Now, if he can do that, then give him more time. But if at the end of the day, he's resorted his tactics and his style in order to get results and completely abandoning any sort of style of play and just being reactive for the sake of trying to clinch results, which is never going to work at the top level. So if he does lose, he's got to go.
Yeah. But I'll give you my prediction. But just before we do, we've got some great comments here. So how can we be so negative and yet so defensively open? We'll get to that. Because I think this is the thing. And actually, you probably noticed this against Arsenal. So guys, what do you think of Buonanotte on the wing? So what his system is that we're playing this thing that rather than having two wingers, we have one winger and the other fullback pushes up and the person who would be on the wing cuts in. So what's ending up happening is you have like Buonanotte drifting out from the right, coming into the middle, and then JJ's going, oh, hi, I've got Gabriel Martinelli and Calafiori both attacking me at the same time. What do I do? Oh, look, we've conceded more goals on the right-hand side than anywhere else on the pitch right now. So that's what he's trying to do. Why he's doing that, I'm not really sure. What do I think of Buonanotte on the wing? I think he's a great player. I don't think he should be in the wing. He should be in the middle. And we should put Fatau on the wing, who was a great winger last season, just saying, by the way. And has actually got better defensive stats even than the love child from Steve Cooper that is Jordan Ayew. You could relate to Danny Walton-Daka, but he chose Ricardo and Fatau. Holy shit, when you put it like that, it says it all. I know a lot of Forest fans who felt exact same way as us. They did say that. All of them say they take a lead and sit back. And agreed, we don't have a relegation squad, but we do have a relegation coach. I agree with all that. And so I'm actually going to go, I don't think we'll lose. I think we'll draw again, 1-1. I'll go with the popular sort of scoreline, but I don't think that's enough. And I just don't think he'll go for it. We've got to get points at home. And actually, this final comment that made me laugh is someone said, Chips, he goes, if we lose and Cooper doesn't get sacked, that's 2 losses in one day, which is maybe a bit brutal, but could be true. But on that, thanks so much to my panel. That's Ragsy, Josh, and Ash. Let me just go through what's going on in your channels these days. What can we look forward to? Let's start with the man in uni. Josh, what's going on in sports these days? Going to have a vlog on Saturday, will we?
Yeah, of course we will. Another vlog, maybe a rant after it as well, depending on the result. But yeah, another vlog on Saturday.
Okay, I love it. Spoilers for new content. The sports are rants coming up this weekend, hopefully. Ash, what's going on? I know you don't have a YouTube channel, boo, but where will we see you next?
I should be on Football's 12th Man tomorrow with Potsy and everybody. So he puts a show on for the teams in and around us. And yeah, I'll be on that talking as positively as I have tonight.
Great. Oh, we're tuning into doing that. Okay. Should be you and Loxy on the 12th man. He can be the 13th. And then Ragsy, what's going on in your podcast?
Yeah. So it's been a bit quiet recently, but don't fear not. We'll load out some more sort of streams and we'll try and do one tonight. So stay tuned to some sort of a preview for the Bournemouth game. Also catch us on FOSHub, and these are both on playback streams as well. So come and tune in with us then. If you want to get involved in the chat, absolutely welcome to do so. And we'll also have our watch along with FOSHub on playback on Saturday for the Bournemouth game. So, and there will definitely be rants. So we hope not. But still.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll also be doing Match Day Live also on blue tinted glasses. I'll be doing it as well this week. So look out forward to that. Huge game against Bournemouth. Up the Foxes. Let's eat some cherries at the weekend. Have a good one all. Thank you, chat, and see you next time. Bye-bye.